Hello students, and welcome to section 5-6, the quadratic formula and the discriminant. The quadratic formula can be used to solve any quadratic equation once it is written in the form ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Here's the quadratic formula. So the solutions of ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0 with a not equal to 0 are given by the following. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So let's go through and solve this first example by quadratic formula. So solve x squared minus 5x equals 14. First up, subtract 14 such that it's now equal to 0. In doing so, we can now argue that a is 1, as I describe here, b is negative 5, and c is negative 14. We're going to plug in all of those respective values in for those a, b, and c values in the formula. So negative of a negative 5 plus or minus the square root of negative 5 in parentheses squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 14 all over 2 times 1. Turns out the radicand, if you do the math, ends up being 81, in other words 25, minus 4 times 1 times negative 14, which ends up being plus a positive, so 25 plus 56 is 81. Square root of which, the next step, because it is a nice perfect square, you get 9. So 5 plus or minus 9 all over 2. 5 plus 9 over 2, what? 14 over 2, of course, is 7. And 5 minus 9 over 2, 5 minus 9 being negative 4 divided by 2, negative 2. So the two solutions of this quadratic are in fact negative 2 and 7. If we reflect a little bit upon how the graph of this should take shape, and yes, I do urge that you check your answers by graphing if you can, and or by virtue of factoring. Remember, if your answers are as nice as what you see here, these two rational values, x squared minus 5x minus 14 should be factorable. I'll go ahead and zoom 6. As we can see here, the parabola should cross at negative 2 and at 7. And our table should also confirm that. So at negative 2, of course, 0. And if we go down to 7, we should see the same basic idea here take shape. And in fact, surely 7, 0 is another x-intercept. Next, the exercises that we can see here. Problem number 1, it says solve by using the quadratic formula. What we're going to go ahead and do here is I'm going to pull off to the side, I'm going to pull my separate select answers for this particular section. So let's take a look at this. Generally speaking, when I do have select problems to kind of pull in, I do argue for you to take a look at those on your own at a separate time if you can, and or as we are seeing now, working on it together. Okay, so I've modified it a bit so we can see it and read it more clearly. So problem number 1, again, solve each equation by using the quadratic formula x squared plus 2x minus 35 equals 0, noting a is 1, b is 2, and c is negative 35. Here's the equation again off to the side. I note here that x again is equal to negative b, negative 2 plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. If we do the math here, this ends up being 144, which is great. It just so happens, of course, again, that that's a perfect square. And when you take the square root of that, you'll get 12. So negative 2 plus or minus 12 all over 2. This first answer comes out as such. Negative 2 plus 12 over 2, or 10 halves, which is 5. Negative 2 minus 12 over 2, or negative 14 halves, negative 7. Turns out that, again, because these answers are as nice as kind of like what we saw in the example, they're rational for that matter, we can actually factor the original quadratic as such to kind of prove that we're on the right track. X plus 7 times x minus 5 equals 0. Two numbers that multiply to negative 35 and add to 2, in fact, are 7 and negative 5. So our two answers setting this equal to 0, in fact, are negative 7, and this equal to 0, 5. Yet again, if you were to graph this quadratic, you should see a parabola that crosses at those two respective values. Number 3, I urge that you take a look on your own separately. It does work out where you do again get two nice rational answers, whether you use the quadratic formula, factoring, or looking again at the graph. Let's go ahead and continue. I do have a problem here below that I wanted to highlight. This one in particular speaks to when you do the math. Here's A as 1, B as 6, C as negative 23. Negative 6 plus or minus the square root of 6 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 23, all over 2 times 1. If you continue, you hopefully can see here that we've got a non-perfect square. Hopefully, though, if you remember breaking it up as such with prime factors, 2, 64. 64 is not prime, but 8 and 8 can be the next step of breaking it down. And then, of course, 2 times 2 times 2, and then 2 times 2 times 2 for each respective value, as you see. However, I stopped here just to denote that I already have a perfect square, so I'm easily able to write this now as 8 root 2. So negative 6 over 2, as you see, plus or minus still, 8 root 2 over 2. I split it up accordingly, and as we've seen in the past, this is a smarter approach, so that you can easily distinguish that negative 3 plus 4 root 2 and negative 3 minus 4 root 2 are your two roots, or solutions, pardon. The graph of this particular function, I do suggest we take a look at again, such that what? If we hope that, if we anticipate seeing, not a hope, we anticipate seeing that the graph crosses at two irrational answers, negative 3 plus 4 root 2 and negative 3 minus 4 root 2. Again, those not being rational, they're irrational. We should see on the graph 2 points of which the parabola crosses the x-axis. However, it's not as easy to justify. You're not going to be able to just look at it and say, oh, that's, you know, this answer and that's the other. They're not integers or rational values. So what we can do to prove this, we can hit second trace, option number 1, and then type in, let's say, negative 3 minus 4 root 2. Again, this is working under the assumption that you've already done the algebra. So the graph is to prove, in fact, that negative 3 minus 4 root 2 comma 0, there it is. And the other point here, which should end up being negative 3 plus 4 root 2. These are irrational numbers, remember. Again, ones that you cannot write as fractions. So please make a note. Just double check. It's a nice way to kind of confirm that we're on the right track. And there you go. The other 0, of course, is that. The decimal value is important to note. However, on your homework for tonight, when I asked you to do the quadratic formula, similar to when you do the completing of the square, I want answers as exact values. So you need to have a root in your answer, for example. I'd like to also take a look at number 15. The answer is somewhat different than the others, as you can already kind of see here. A is 1, B is negative 6, C is 21. So a negative of a negative 6 plus or minus the square root of negative 6 squared minus 4 times 1 times 21, all over 2 times 1. This quantity ends up actually being negative, which is fine in the context of imaginary roots, which we will end up getting here, but it's not fine in the context of seeing the x-intercepts on the graph. This parabola will not cross the x-axis, again, because you cannot take the square root of a negative number in the real number system. I've broken it up as 16, 3, and negative 1. The square root of 16, of course, is 4, pardon, and then the 3 is left under the root. Because we happen to have a negative as well, the square root of negative 1, of course, being I, you pull that out as such. So we'll have 6 halves plus or minus 4 root 3i over 2, or 4 halves root 3i, which in fact, of course, you can simplify that as well as that. So 6 halves is 3, 4 halves is 2. The two solutions are 3 plus 2 root 3i and 3 minus 2 root 3i. We all need to be familiar with imaginary zeros as answers. Okay, this is a very important result that speaks to, again, not only the parabola not touching nor crossing the x-axis, however, the two zeros are conjugates of each other, complex conjugates, because they always come in pairs, if you recall. All right, let's move on to the next page. We're going to talk about now the discriminant, roots and the discriminant. What is the discriminant? The expression under the radical sign, in other words, b squared minus 4ac, also called the radicand, in the quadratic formula is called the discriminant. So there's four different things that we'll take a look at with regards to the discriminant. The first of which, if b squared minus 4ac is greater than 0 and it's a perfect square, you're going to have two rational roots. Okay, it's also true that this is going to be factorable. Okay, that's an important aspect that I'm going to go ahead and add to our analysis here. So let's make a note. Now, we've already seen a couple of these already today where if in fact this is the case, you know you have a factorable quadratic. So is the quadratic formula necessary? I would argue no. You still need to know how to do every type of method, factoring, quadratic formula, of course still completing the square and graphing. But that's going to be our result, two rational roots. If in fact you have a b squared minus 4ac that's greater than 0 but not a perfect square, you'll have two irrational roots, which we also again did see earlier with regards to our answer with a root in it. b squared minus 4ac, when it's equal to 0, will only have one rational root. It's technically going to be considered a repeated root. Please note that as well. We've talked about repeated roots before. Okay, a good example is when your parabola doesn't cross the x-axis at 2 points, it bounces on the x-axis at only 1 point, and that will occur when it's the vertex that you end up with. But again, only when the discriminant is equal to 0 will this happen. Last but not least, when b squared minus 4ac is less than 0, you'll have two complex roots or two imaginary roots, like we saw in the very last problem on the prior page when we got I in our answers. For example, find the value of the discriminant for each equation, then describe the number and type of roots for the equation. So here's our equation, 2x squared plus 5x plus 3. Notice we're not doing any quadratic formula and solving here. We're just finding the value of the discriminant and continuing with the description, as you can read. A equals 2, b equals 5, c equals 3. So if we do, in fact, b squared minus 4ac, we'll go ahead and see that 5 squared minus 4 times 2a times 3c. Do the math. That ends up being 25 minus 24, which of course is 1, which of course also is greater than 0. Okay, 1 is a perfect square, so the discriminant is a perfect square again, so the equation has two rational roots, and you could have factored that quadratic from the beginning. Just something to kind of keep in mind as you're doing these. If in fact I asked you to solve it, you should have two rational roots as nice values, so to speak, because it's factorable. Part B, here's your quadratic. 3x squared minus 2x plus 5. A is 3. B is negative 2. C is 5. B squared minus 4ac. We can go ahead and see here that we most certainly are going to take b and square it, so negative 2 quantity squared. Okay, and then we can go ahead and subtract what? Minus 4 times 3 times 5. If you do the math, that ends up being negative 56. Because that's less than 0, not surprisingly, I would argue, we have a what? Complex root situation. Technically, there are two complex roots in this particular problem. If in fact you graphed it, you would see that the parabola does not cross nor touch the x-axis. I've pulled this in off to the side as you finish up the notes for today. I do want you to take a look at number 1 on your own. And as you can see on the right here, I've done the work for number 1. For part A, noting the discriminant. Part B, noticing, as you can see, the types of roots, the number of roots as well. And then lastly, for part C, going through the full process of the quadratic formula. So please finish up in your notes with numbers 2 and 3, and then we'll proceed, of course, with homework.